I'm sharing a channeled message from the angels about just how connected we are to them. I'm Ann Tucker, and thanks for coming by my YouTube channel. I am a trance channel, and I channel from the angelic realm, which means I raise my awareness up as high as I can go, and then a little higher, and I connect, and then those messages start to flow. I write them down, and I share them here with you on YouTube. And today's message is all about how we really are connected, even integrated with the angels, and they go a little bit into how their identity is fluid. It's super interesting. And if you want to hear more messages like this one, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe using that little button down there right around the description box. In the description box, you will also find a link to join the challenge that's coming up on April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, which I talk about a little bit in the video. So if you want to be part of that, it's our personal brand challenge. You will find the link down there. So I hope to see you there. Thanks so much. And here is the message. Okay, so super cool message for today to share with you guys from the angels. I channeled this just yesterday, and they have been over the last. And for those of you who are new to the group, I am a trance channel as well. I've been sharing the messages that I get. I channel from the angelic realm, and I share those messages here with you guys. And they have, over the last several weeks, the theme of their messages has all been around, like, what exactly is an angel? And I'm starting to see the method to their madness. Like, why are they talking about this? Is because I think it helps us so much better to understand ourselves when we have something to compare ourselves to, right? What is it to be human? Well, we are not angels. And here's what an angel is, and this is how that's different from being a human. So I think it's really, really helpful to helping me to understand in a way that really stretches my perception, stretches like the normal framework I have. Like normally we understand things in terms of the context we're used to, which is this 3D life that we live, right? It's the things of solid matter. But here with angels, we're talking about something that's in no way solid. Like there's nothing solid about it. And there's a huge aspect of ourselves that is not solid, right? All the things that are larger than this physical self. And so understanding on that level, on the level of spirit, how are we different? We have to have something to compare ourselves that's at the level of spirit. And so that's, I think, why they're going into this at such depth, is they're helping us to see who are we, what is it to be human as a spirit, as opposed to being angelic. And there really is a difference. And it's super interesting because they've been giving us all this information, and they're going into this a little bit more here in the in this message. So I'll go ahead and share it with you now. All right. So they say, you have wondered how we can be in all, how we can be in all places at once. So how is it that, angels are sort of like that, no matter where you speak, the angels can hear you, or where are they? They're everywhere. So how is it that they can do that? They say, you have wondered if we are conscious or we are embodied. They say, we have feathers, this we have identity. We can assume physical proportion and appear within your space, but we are now beings afar and different from how you are today. You can begin to comprehend our statue with alignment to ourselves, undertaking conversations such as this one here. So, and I love the fact that they say that they have feathers. And they are, because of the fact that they are non-physical. And I think the feathers are, because they talk about this later, I sometimes they say stuff and then later it dawns on me like what they're actually meaning. And I think the concept of feathers is important, because I think the feather itself, each individual feather, I think represents something non-physical. So because they talk about it later, and when I get to that, I'll bring it up and see what you guys think, because that's how I'm starting to see it, is that the feathers of their wings, when we think of angels, we associate them so much with feathers. Like when you find a white feather, it's like, ooh, it's an angel feather, right? There's something about the feather itself that is, each feather represents something. So see what you guys think when we get to that part. And you're saying that you're sorry you can't join the challenge because you're at work. I'm so sorry about that. I will record it. So if you are working during the challenge, you can get the recordings and still work through it. And you can always participate here in the group. We'll have comments and sort of digesting everything here in the group as well. So feel free to join in if you want to, even if you're working, and you can still get a lot of the benefit. So, okay, so going on with the message, they say, we are ready and able to describe to ourselves through yourself. To comprehend us, you must be willing to stretch your awareness, to be attuned to feelings that are not present as you know things to be. To be attuned to feeling that which is not present as you know things to be. So you have to be willing to feel things that aren't actually physical. Be open to our wings. The softness of their embrace is felt within, not external. It is felt as a breeze flowing nearby. It is warmth in your heart, a temporary elevation of spirit in your heart, gladness effervescent, a bubbling internally. This is how we appear to you now. So they're saying that sort of the first step is this in terms of really beginning to understand them, which helps us to understand ourselves, is to start to sense them and to be willing to comprehend them in this non-physical manner through our senses, through this feeling of them, feeling them as a breeze or the warmth inside, or like that bubbling. I sometimes feel them like literally like champagne bubbles inside. Sometimes it's like this crazy pressure as they come in. That's another thing. But anyways, they say all these lovely things. This temporary elevation of spirit in your heart, gladness effervescent, a bubbling internally. So these are all the things we can start to tune into and feel them. They go on to say, eventually there will be more of us known to you all. You will comprehend ourselves most readily. You will see our form as we present it. You will experience our touch and knowledge given with a whisper to hear, a voice audible to some, and many will sense our presence. There will become a union amongst ourselves, between us, you and ourselves becoming more intertwined, readily conversant. A layer crosses over to become the fabric of ourselves mixed toward a celestial union. Okay, this is huge. So when I read that, or when they said this, reading this now, so in the beginning they're saying that we are going to comprehend them easier as time goes on. And good morning, you guys. I see those of you who are just joining. It's great to have you with us. Thank you so much. Great to see you. They're saying that we will experience them like their touch, their whisper, this, and they're saying some of us will actually hear them audibly, that they would become aware of their presence. But then they go on to say, and they're saying over time, humans and angels become more interconnected. And this is such an interesting idea, especially when we talk about our guardian angel and how integral our guardian angel is to our earthly experience. Right? Like being a human, there's not a single human that does not have a guardian angel. There's something about the guardian angel that is a part of our self, of our physical embodiment. The angel is like literally, they're like right here, like right part, like almost part of your body. Sometimes they actually move in, but they're like right there. So there's something about that where they're integrated to us in a way, or bound to us. And they talk about that here. But they're saying that over time, there'll be a union amongst ourselves, right? Between us and the angels, that we and them becoming more intertwined. They're saying readily conversant. So it'll be like easy to talk. Like it's like, hey, angel, how you doing? Like, what do you think? Like it'll be readily conversant, like easy to talk. And then they say a layer crosses over to become the fabric of ourselves mixed toward a celestial union. So there's just over time, I think as we're evolving, then we become more integrated with the angels, which is a super interesting idea, particularly around the idea of the guardian angels. So let's keep on going. So, and thank you for the happy sunny morning. It is, by the way, it is here in Seattle. It's been gorgeous. Like today, it's just perfect sun, gorgeous outside. I hope you guys are having good weather too where you are, but it's really lovely here. I can't wait to get outside. Okay, they go on to say, you will experience ourselves as brethren, but brothers and sisters united with yourselves, caught in between your awareness of self and soul. The spirit rises within your heart and we embrace it. We are ready to be ourselves, unified with yours. You can ready for this appearance within your rising vibration, becoming more fluid in flow, understanding each day as it arises. Be willing to accept ourselves as non-physical and embodied in a sense as we are. So yeah, so they're talking about this idea of us becoming more intertwined with them. And I love what they say that we'll experience them as like sort of like us but different, than the way that a brother or sister is like us but different, right? Same mother, same father, same God, right? And that's my word, so please use yours, but same God, but there's a difference between us in the same way that we are not our brother or sister. We are different. Angels are like us but different. And caught in your awareness between self and soul. And I feel like that is a whole book that could just be opened and explored, that angels are caught between our awareness of self and soul, that they are, our experience of them is caught in between our awareness of ourself and our awareness of our soul. Wow. Like I feel like I just need to spend time meditating on that, just that one line, because there's so much there. The spirit rises. So as our spirit rises within our heart, as we become more heart-centered, we raise our vibration, they embrace it. They're ready to be ourselves, unified with us, right? And they're ready for that. They're ready for this appearance with our rising vibration. So as we're rising our vibration, we're becoming closer and closer to this eventuality, to this possibility to unify with them. Being willing to accept, we have to accept them, accept them as non-physical and embodied, in a sense, as we are. So, and they're wanting us to be in flow. And that's important as they go on, talking about being more fluid, more in flow, because they are fluid. And that's what they talk about as we go here. And it's super interesting. So I think it's important that we become fluid, because then our nature is closer to theirs. And being fluid means like being more on the dharmic path as opposed to the karmic path, being more, as you wake up each day, just kind of taking where the day leads you and taking what comes, and following your intuition in a really tangible way, like letting your day be dictated by your intuition, kind of going this way or that way, depending on where you're led in the moment, living really in the now. And that is the physical experience of being in flow and being fluid. But the angels are fluid in a non-physical way. So let's talk about that. But I think they're mentioning it here because as we're trying to raise our vibration and get closer to them, being in flow and being fluid is part of that, because it makes us more like them. All right. They go on to say, we are very transparent to your view. We are not incorporated by density. We rise above it and dwell in release of that heavy frequency. We can, however, solidify ourselves for your perceiving. When we accomplish this, it is not for being complete upon the earth. We never integrate to her wholly. We remain apart, although connected to yourselves. So this is really interesting. So when you see an angel, and there have been stories, I've heard amazing stories of angels showing up as like a physical person. Like literally, there's a story, like where an angel like got in someone's car. I actually know a person, friend of mine, who had an angel show up as like a busker, like somebody playing music on the street. And she was going to blow him off, but then he said her name. He was like, hey, said her name and said, you need to move, and gave her specific instructions. And then they turned around and he was vanished. And it was an angel who had physicalized. So yes, they can take a physical form, but they're saying here, when they do that, they're not physical in the same way that we are, that they're never bound to the earth in the way that we are. They physicalize in a different way. And they'll talk about that, how that happens. So they can solidify themselves, so just so that we can perceive them. It is not being complete upon the earth when they do it. They never integrate to her wholly. We remain apart, although connected to yourselves. So they are integrated to us. So our guardian angel isn't connected to the earth. Our guardian angel is connected to us, which is super interesting. So we become sort of like the gravity for the guardian angel. All right. So I find this stuff so interesting. I hope you guys do too. I just find this to be like, it's just stretching my brain in a really crazy way. But I find I'm learning so much through this process of hearing this from them. So they go on to say, we are many, as we have spoken. There are some who dwell here on planet and live to find purpose among the needs of many whispers and prayers. They rise as they need to restore their vibration and descend to begin again. We are encompassing many thoughts and feelings, however, not always original to ourselves. We take in that which you offer and reflect within ourselves. The knowledge we bear comes from on high. We are transporters of this information for the benefit of other beings. So there's a lot here about what an angel is. So they're saying, number one, they're saying that there are angels who sort of are on earth all the time. They're not bound to earth, right? Because they just said that they're not bound to earth, but there are angels who kind of are around here all the time that are listening for the whispers and prayers, right? Listening, and that they're there ready to help, right? Ready to help us in a bunch of different ways. And then they say they rise as they need to restore their vibration. So it's like, yes, it's heavy and dense here. So they do sometimes go up and restore themselves and then come back down again, which I think is interesting. We are encompassing many thoughts and feelings, however, not always original to ourselves. So, and I think this is important to understand, because they've said before in previous channelings, and the way I've been thinking about it is that the angels, the difference between us and the angels is that the angels are the light of God. And my word again, please use yours, but the angels are the light of God, and we are the spark of God. That the angels are love, right? The angels are out there to spread and expand and give love. And then we are, being the spark of God, we are creative. And the angels are not necessarily creative. They don't create things. We do. We have that spark of God. And so we are here on the earth, experience what it is to create. And so it makes sense that thoughts become things. Thoughts are creative. So the angels here are saying that they encompass many thoughts and feelings. However, they're not always original to themselves. They're not about thought. That's not where they dwell. Because thought is a creative force. So it makes sense that they're carrying thoughts, but the thoughts that they're carrying are reflections of our thoughts, right? That they have knowledge, and that they're carrying our thoughts and wishes, and they carry love. They have feelings, but they're not made up the same way. They don't have thoughts the same way that we do. And I think that's a really interesting thought. There I go. I had a thought. I'm so creative. Okay. So they go on to say the knowledge we bear comes from on high. So they have all divine wisdom they're carrying, and they're transporters of this information for the benefit of other beings. So I think, like I said, a lot in that paragraph, but so helpful to understand how we are different. Like I said, we're different in the sense that, yes, we are creative and we do have thought. So it's super interesting. They go on to say, we can be many beings of angels. We can subsume the energies of our fellow friends to draw forth the powers we share. We can combine and separate. We can instill in each other the feathers of our wings to transport a wish or a dream that we carry for another. So this is the part I wanted you guys to listen to and see what you thought. So when I hear this, because they're saying already they're non-physical, but they talked before that we know they have feathers, and feathers are such a symbol for angels. So they're saying here that we can instill in each other the feathers of our wings to transport a wish or a dream that we carry for another. So think about that when you are making a wish, that it's like a feather, right? It's like a feather on the angel's wing. And they're saying that, so your wish or your dream is like a feather. And they can then give those feathers to each other. So an angel that's carrying your feather can give that feather to it. So it's like a physical representation of the angel's role. The feathers are to be the bearers of our wishes and our dreams. And that's their wings are covered in our dreams and our wishes, right? How beautiful is that? So I just love that. And they're saying that they're the messengers. So they're delivering our feathers, right? Our wishes and our dreams. So beautiful. You're saying, I always need to rewatch these. They're so wonderfully packed. Me too. I gotta tell you, I have to reread these a bunch of times because they are. And it helps, I think, having them talk on the same topic or same subject several weeks in a row has been helpful because it reinforces. And so, like I said, these are packed with stuff, and it's really helpful to have message after message because it reinforces and it helps me and it gives context and color to what they're saying. So I'm understanding it better by having multiple messages about the same thing. I hope you guys are too. All right, so they go on to say, and this is the part where they talk about being fluid. This is like mind blower. Our existence is fluid, flowing, not constrained as you are become. We can flow where needed and become one larger entity or disperse into many. Archangel, you question this meaning. So what is an archangel? So I'm asking that. They're saying, Archangel, you question this meaning. It is an assemblage of many beings, all sorts trying together to accomplish what must sort itself. We are fluid, as we say. We combine, we separate. We identify as some portion of all and become unified in separate identities as well. We can envelop many patterns of being as you are understanding ourselves. We have presence everywhere in all things to combine and release, disperse as we need. So this is something where you really have to stretch your mind to grasp this one. But think of it as like they're ever like think of like angelic energy just being everywhere in all things all the time. And then when they need to have, like when an angel becomes present and this is not your guardian angel because that's separate. They talk about that in the next paragraph, but this is like a non-guardian angel, like a regular angel, that the angelic energy is everywhere. And then, so they need to physicalize, say you call on Archangel Michael. Well, then that angelic energy will coalesce, will condense to come together to form that identity. And within that is all that consciousness that was in there. So the consciousness that comes in to form Archangel Michael as part of this angelic consciousness may then dissolve and go form Archangel Gabriel somewhere else, right? So that consciousness has been over here is Michael, and then over here is Gabriel, and then over here is like some other totally different angel, or is like a non-famous, non-archangel angel, right? Whatever's needed. So it's like the fabric is always there, and it's sort of bunched up into one angel, and then relaxed again, and then bunched up again over into another angel, and then relaxed, right? So it's like the consciousness is everywhere. And they've talked about that before, that like when we give a message to the angels, it's not like, and they're going to carry the message for us. It's not like they physically fly it somewhere. It's like it enters the fabric of their awareness, and it's everywhere. And each one is a feather. Like, how cool. But that's wild. So then they're talking about how for us, as we're raising our vibration to get closer to the angels, we have to become more fluid in our experience of life, that we have to become more in flow, experience life as it comes, and not with all of the planning and worry and scheduling. And it's like a rise to the moment, whatever's happening in that moment, rise to that moment and live it fully. And that's being in flow, which is like them, where they are in identity at the very core level. They are in flow, right? They are just energy, and then they form into an identity, and then they dissolve, right? And then they form into an identity, a different identity, as needed, as required by us and what other beings they help. So if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. What do you guys think of that? Like I just think it's so amazing, and it's so informing about who we are now. And I love how they say that before, that their existence is fluid, not and flowing, not constrained as we have become. So we are not always constrained. We are constrained. And I don't know if that means humanity as a whole always, or if that just means because we're in a physical body that we are currently constrained. But tell me what you guys think about this, because I think it's super helpful to just understand where we're heading in the long run, to become more fluid, to become more in flow. What does that look like if we're growing into that? That's where we're heading, and to become more integrated with them. So amazing. All right, now here's how they say, so that's kind of all angels in general. This is where they're going to go into how the guardian angel is different. They say, your guardian angel is different. They are bound to yourselves and come hither within yourself. They never leave you. They do not disperse. They are tied and grounded as you are here on earth, and may pass only when you are done. Then you may begin to perceive them as separate, but not without yourself, not apart, never gone from yourself. They are an assemblage indeed of fortitude, most strong and loving energies drawn in and held in Creator's mind for your benefit. They are Creator's choice, Creator's hand in your life, present every day, forever. You are bound together in spirit, a part of one another, to become more unified as time goes on. So, okay, all right. Who needs a breath after that? I do. So amazing. So they're saying that the guardian angel, as these other angels collect and then disperse, right? That they have this sort of unified angelic consciousness, and they're able to embody different beings. The guardian angel never disperses, that they're bound to us, that they're bound to us the moment before we get here, they're bound to us, right? And then they're here with us the whole time. They never dissolve. And that they're saying that they're an assemblage of energy. They're a consciousness, right? Of all that consciousness that's collected, it is the choice of Creator. Like Creator creates this guardian angel for us. And that they are, and they're saying that it's a super strong, like most strong, fortitude, strong, loving energies drawn in, held in Creator's mind for our benefit. And that we're bound together. And then they hint again, part of one another, to become more unified as time goes on. And I got to tell you, as they were saying that, they gave me a vision of a human shape that was like thin layers. So think of it like very, very thin layers, kind of all different colors. And it was sort of like just the generic shape of a person. And they showed the human form with all these different layers, all different colors coming up. And it was almost like all the different aspects of ourself, like our inner child and our subconscious and our higher self, and all these different elements of ourself, right? All these different layers. And you could say like our emotion body, our all the different bodies that we have, right? So there's all these different layers that we have. Then they showed the angelic becoming a layer on top of that, it was like a blue layer on top. So it was like somehow they become more integrated into our physical apparatus. And I'm sorry, I can't be more clear than that, because it's really abstract, and that's what they showed me. And I know that as we get more messages over time, it will become clearer, because a lot of what they said has become clear as they've given us more and more and more messages. But wow, you guys. Okay, you guys have some comments here. You're saying, I always need to rewatch these. And you're saying, so a guardian angel is not just one being. No, I understand the guardian angel to be one being, but they're saying that it's one. So it's like if you imagine that collective consciousness being like the fabric being bunched up into one form, they are one form, but they contain the collective awareness within that one form. So I think that's a better way of understanding it. But they are one being, one, like when that form comes together, it's like a person, right? It's one angelic being who is our guardian angel. But within that angelic being, they have access to this greater angelic consciousness. So their one being is made up of angelic consciousness, which is all angels. But they're embodied in this one form, one shape, and they have a specific, like they might have a specific identity, specific name, a specific look. Like I know when I've channeled, like specifically, it's come up several times in my golden circle, where specific angels have come through for certain people, where for one reason or another, because it was the right thing for that person, where they had a connection with this one angelic being, and that being would be an identity that is not around all the time, that they form wherever and whenever they're required through these angelic stardust that's out there, right? They're like, okay, it's like, think of it as fabric that kind of bunches together into that one shape. So they do have different identities. And I think there are a lot of different angelic identities, and those identities can come together made up of all of the angelic consciousness. So even within that one identity, it might express as one shape, like, like one, what we would call a person, an identity. But even within that, they have access to all angelic wisdom, which is super cool. And I think that's kind of how we are, that we are embodied, but we have access to like the Akashic records and to the collective consciousness, right? That we can dip into the collective consciousness. Like I can travel over and heal you from a distance, right? You can heal me from a distance. We can connect and feel each other's feelings, even though we're connected at this higher level. So we are doing the same thing as they are in terms of connecting into this higher level, but our identity doesn't dissolve and reincorporate all the time. That would be hard. Reincorporating it anyways. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that explains it. That's how I'm understanding it based on what they're saying. You're saying angel energy is taking on, and I can actually bring this up here so you can read it too. Angel energy is taking on different angel roles at a moment's notice. We play different roles each life. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a great analogy. I love that. So their energy is coming together and we do too. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Thank you so much for saying that, because we are doing the same thing. We dissolve when we die and then we reincorporate in our next birth. Wow. Okay. That is so great. Thank you so much for saying that. That adds so much richness to this whole conversation. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You get a gold star for today. All of you do, because this is mind-blowing stuff. You all get gold stars. So you guys, thank you so much. If you have more thoughts about this to share, I really welcome our collective wisdom. Like I want to know how you guys are digesting this stuff too, what you think of it, any ideas or thoughts that you have, how do you relate to it? I want to know. And thank you so much for joining me. It is wonderful to spend the time with you guys and to find a community of people who are interested in these topics. I think it's just so helpful. I'm growing a ton through it. I hope you guys are too. And thank you guys, those of you who have joined our challenge. It is, like I said, super exciting. We've got 80 people who have joined so far, and people are just now showing up in the group and starting to put in their introductions, introducing themselves. This is a challenge to talk about your personal brand, and this applies to you whether you are have your own business, or whether you are writing a bio, writing your resume, doing your marketing for your business. However this is showing up for you, there are a million ways that we have to talk about ourselves in our life, right? A million different ways that we have to talk about ourselves. And this is going to be using the soul types, which is the 7 different soul types, which is a big part of my work, right? Is talking about all the 7 different methods of creation, how each of us embodies one of those. That gives us a language that we can use to talk about ourselves in a way that's really authentic to who we are at a deep level. So it gives you really quick access to that sort of that deep understanding of self and what is the value that you're bringing to the world. So we're going to be working on this together for 3 days, starting on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of April. And if you would like to join, I would love to have you there. The link is here in the group. So I hope to see you guys in it. It's going to be a ton of fun. So thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're in the Seattle area, enjoy this gorgeous weather. I'm about to go get outside. So thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. I'll see you soon. Bye, you guys.